All right, let's talk about it. That feeling, that knot in your stomach whenever you even think about your finances. That powerful urge to do, well, literally anything other than look at your bank account. We're going to break down exactly why that happens and lay out a clear path to get past it, one small step at a time. Oh, you know the one. It's that moment, that split-second choice where you could tap the banking app, or you could check social media or tidy up the kitchen, anything else. It's this weird cocktail of anxiety and fear, and yeah, maybe a little bit of shame. Well, believe it or not, this feeling has a name. It's called the ostrich effect, and it's a known cognitive bias. See, this isn't some personal failing you have. It's just your brain doing what it thinks it's supposed to do, avoiding pain. And just by giving it a name, we can take away some of its power and see it for what it is, a totally predictable and manageable human thing. And this, right here, is maybe the most important thing you'll hear today. So let it really sink in for a second. You are not broken. Your brain is just reacting. It's trying to protect you from something it sees as a threat. And understanding that, well, that's the first step to disarming the shame that keeps so many of us completely stuck. So why is this feeling so paralyzing? It's because avoidance creates this thing we can call a reality gap. Your brain is literally stuck in a tug of war with itself. On one hand, you've got this deep fear screaming, I am in big trouble. But on the other hand, by not looking, you leave room for this tiny sliver of hope that says, well, maybe it's not that bad. That internal fight is absolutely exhausting, and it keeps you from doing anything at all. Now, for someone in recovery from gambling, this reaction can be 1,000 times more intense. Seeing a negative balance isn't just a bummer. It can trigger a real, physical, painful drop in dopamine. And the brain just screams to correct that feeling. And its old go-to move was to place a bet. So in that context, avoidance becomes a defense mechanism, a way to stop that neurological roller coaster before it even leaves the station. Okay, so how do we break this cycle? It all starts with one fundamental shift in how we think. We have to move from a place of shame to a place of strategy. And that starts right here with this idea. Math, not morality. This right here is the game changer. Just let that set for a minute. Debt is a contract. It's a financial agreement. It's numbers on a screen. But we, in society, we load it up with all this moral weight, right? We turned it into proof of some deep character flaw. But at its absolute core, it's just a contract. So when you reframe it this way, you completely transform the situation. You take this huge emotional monster that's been living in the closet and you drag it out into the light. And you realize, oh, it's not a monster. It's a math problem. It stops being a flaw you have to hide and just becomes a puzzle that needs a solution. Okay, so once we've got that new mindset in place, we can start to take some real action. But the key, and this is a big one, is that we have to be gentle with ourselves. This next part is all about how we can face the numbers without setting off all the internal alarm bells. We're going to borrow a tool from therapy called an exposure protocol. Now, I know that sounds intense, but look how tiny these steps are. Seriously, the goal isn't to fix everything right now. The goal is just to teach your nervous system that looking is safe. So, day one, you just look at the app icon. That's it. Maybe the next day you open it for a single second. Then maybe you glance at one number. We're just slowly, gently showing your brain that you're not in danger. And once we can actually look at the numbers without that sense of panic, well, that's when we can start building. And that brings us to our rebuilding blueprint. This is a set of real, practical systems to create structure and keep you moving in the right direction. And listen, this part is so key. If you're just relying on sheer willpower to get through this, you're setting yourself up for a really tough time. Willpower is like a muscle. It gets tired. Instead, we need to build systems. Think of them like guardrails on a highway that make the right choices easier and the wrong choices harder. These systems are what support the new person you're working to become. And of course, financial avoidance doesn't happen in a vacuum. It really puts a strain on our relationships. So a plan like this helps turn vague promises into actual concrete actions. A weekly check-in, even if it's just for 5 minutes, builds transparency. And sharing one small financial truth every day, like, hey, just so you know, I bought a coffee today. That rebuilds the muscle of honesty. It's all about action, not just apologies. So here are a few of those practical guardrails we were talking about. Automate everything you possibly can. That just takes the decision-making and the potential for avoidance right out of the equation. Block access to temptation. And here's a good one. Give yourself a safe sandbox, like a separate account with a little bit of discretionary money you can spend without any guilt. These aren't signs of weakness, they are signs of a really smart strategy. Sometimes the motivation to keep going has to come from somewhere completely outside the world of numbers. We could call this the fatherhood anchor. It's the simple act of spending 10 minutes, just 10, of totally uninterrupted, focused time with each of your kids every single day. This connects your recovery to a purpose that's so much bigger than yourself. It's a daily, powerful reminder of what you're really fighting for. All of this helps us rewire our brain's reward system. Take the snowball method, for example, where you pay off your smallest debt first. Now, mathematically, it might not be the most efficient way, but psychologically, it's a game changer. Wiping out that first debt gives you a huge dopamine hit, a real progress win. It replaces that artificial high from a gamble with the genuine high of making real, tangible progress. And that feeling is what fuels you to tackle the next one. So, we've reframed the problem. We've created a new mindset, and we've laid out a blueprint with some real tools. Now, there's just one thing left to talk about: your next step. This is where it all comes home. Forget about solving everything tomorrow. The whole journey just starts with a single step. Maybe that step is just looking at the bank app icon on your phone. Maybe it's telling your partner you bought lunch. Maybe it's just admitting to yourself what you think the balance might be. So, what is it? What is the one small, manageable truth you can choose to face right now, today? Because that's it. That's where your new story begins.